Hey Internet, this is Jeff coming to you live with another video blog here. I went to a convention this past weekend, my first show in about 2 years. I took some time off to get my day gig in order in 2019, and then COVID happened in 2020, and that kind of sidelined me for doing shows for quite a while. So it's been a bit since I've been on the road. But a comic convention came up, the Suncoast Comic Con over in Bradenton, Florida, which is between Sarasota and Tampa. So I got to go over to the West Coast and spend a few days. When I did the show, I just took my boxes of gear that I had from the last time I did a show 2 years ago, and I had no idea what was in it. So I had enough comics, and I had some prints and enough stuff to set up the show, so that was good. Didn't really do a whole lot of prep, just kind of wanted to find out what was there, where I was at pick up where I left off. So that's what I did. So it was a good show. Did okay. A lot of people came out. Folks are very eager to start getting out after COVID, and it was good to see everybody. A lot of us spent a lot of time, the artists and writers, talking to each other, catching up on where we had been for the last few years. I picked up a dash cam for my car a bit ago, and this was the first time I got to try it out on a long-distance road trip, and I was pretty happy with that. I like having the added security that it gives me for recording everything, for accidents and any encounters you have. So it records both the road ahead of you and points back into the cab of the vehicle. So I was real happy with that. We were at the Bradenton Expo Center, and I got to take my drone and fly in some new places over on the West Coast. Since COVID hit, I've been kind of stuck in the Daytona area. In years past, when we've done shows up in Kentucky and Tennessee, there have been some great places that I could think of that I would love to fly. Everything in Florida is living right on the coast here. I get some great shots along the beach and all that, but everything else is very flat. So I'm hoping to have some shows later in the year or early next year, getting out a bit and getting to get up into some of those more scenic places and experience some new things with the drone. I did put it up at the Expo Center. I went outside and took some shots of the surrounding area. It was right next to a river, so I got some great shots along there. It was nice weather that day, so did real well. There was a big sand pile from a construction area, and I flew over that and was checking that out, and a bunch of birds came by and started buzzing the drone, so I brought it back to me. I did put it up inside the convention center next to my table. It did okay. It was inside, no GPS, so I flew up and just kind of panned around a little bit. Got some neat shots. The next morning, when I went back before a bunch of people had gotten there, I put it up in the main aisle, and I flew it down the center aisle just very slowly, and got a neat shot. And I thought about going up and down the aisles, but when I moved it over my head, I felt the downdraft that was coming from the props, and I realized it makes a good bit of wind inside, so I didn't want to fly it. A lot of people left their tables set up There were books and comics on them, and I didn't want to blow people's stuff around, get everybody pissed off at me. So I thought I'll just call it a day with that, and brought it down. I got to see my friend Sergio over there. Sergio is, in addition to being a fantastic artist, he's also a drone pilot. He's got a whole bunch of different DJI units, and he has a YouTube channel. I'll try to put a link down in the description here. But he's done all kind of range tests and different testing on a bunch of different DJI units. So he's real into his tech and his gadgets, and it was fun to get to see Sergio again. I sat next to him a few years ago over in Orlando at the MegaCon. Got to know him, and he's a great artist and a great guy, and a real fun drone pilot to hang out with too. So he put his drone up inside the show, and just kind of got a panoramic. He has the Mini 2 he brought with him, so it was kind of fun to get to see him play with that for a little bit in there. I did put in an application for Orlando MegaCon coming up in August, so we'll see how that goes. I know everything is just kind of getting started back up, so we'll see where everybody is with that. Hoping to get a guest invite to get a table. That would be fun. Got to hang out with a bunch of people I hadn't seen in a while. My buddy Roland Mann, who was my editor at Malibu. We do shows a lot together. We did a couple years ago. The most places we kind of offer a 2-for-1. We'll share the drive up and share a hotel room, and they can get 2 guests for the expense of 1. So I went over with him. He's started back up Silverline Comics, and he had their intern Dante came with us, and so it was kind of the 3 amigos hanging out for the weekend. Got to see April Hunter again. I sat next to her at Emerald City convention a few years ago. She's a pro wrestler and a model, and I thought she would do a great photo cover for Extraterrestrial in Shanghai when I get those back up and running again. I'm working on the next Extraterrestrial book right now. That's almost done. But April does a podcast called The A Show with another wrestler named Aaron. So if you want to check that out, I'll try to also put a link in the description. I saw my old buddy Pat Broderick. I was talking to him, and in mid-sentence he just stopped and said, "Damn, we got old." And I've known Pat since I was in my early 20s. I got my start inking backgrounds for John Beatty, who was working on Doom 2099 at the time over Pat's pencils. So those were some of the first professional inks I got to lay down were over some of Pat's pencils. Just background work, but it was fun getting my start, and that was kind of a very low stress effort into inking other people's work. We talked to comics legend Alex Saviuk for a bit. He has some great industry stories. He's known so many people over the years. He's kind of done and experienced it all. I made some new friends too from some of the other artists that were in the aisle we were sitting on. I made some new contacts, so always love getting out and meeting other people in the business. I sold a few sketchbooks and a couple of original pages. My art pile is starting to dwindle, so I'm doing everything digitally now, so I'm not having the traditional ink on paper pages that I used to have so many of. But that's all right. I think I appreciate more having the ability to undo, and some of the just the portability that digital gives me to be able to ink or draw a page anywhere, and especially doing some of the 3D work now, being able to render it on the machine and then open it up in Photoshop or Clip Studio and do anything I want to it, open Illustrator, drop in the lettering, all on the same Microsoft Surface tablet that I have, so that's very powerful. I flew some near the hotel Sunday morning and got some shots of a Waffle House next door. I have a running joke with Roland. Every time we pass a Waffle House on the highway, I point it out to him. And there are many in the South. So I kind of flew up around the sign and did did a pan around it. That was kind of fun. It started to sprinkle a bit when I was up flying around. There was a little pond and getting some scenic shots, and then I noticed it's like I'm getting wet, and I saw on the lake it was sprinkling pretty hard. So I brought the drone back and landed it. Didn't rain too much that day, but it got enough of footage to kind of check it out, and had some fun flying in a new area. When we were driving home, there was a little dog ran out across the highway there. There was a 6-lane road, and I saw up ahead, looked like a squirrel darting across the road. And as we got closer, I saw it was a Chihuahua. So I slammed on the brakes and laid on the horn, and the dog stopped and turned around and ran back the other way. Luckily, there was nobody in the other lane, and it took off across it's like a little field or a parking lot, hopefully heading back to wherever he came from. But that was scary. I captured it on the dash cam, so you'll see that here. We made it back home Sunday evening. Got to unpack and had Monday off, so for Memorial Day. So got to unpack and kind of unwind for a bit, a little extended weekend there. But it was a fun time. Got to see a bunch of folks I hadn't seen in a couple of years. Make some new contacts. Had some fun being a comic artist again for a weekend. And hopefully we'll have some more shows coming up in the future. Also got to take the drone and put it up in some new areas and fly around, and enjoyed getting the new footage there. So hoping there will be some new opportunities in the next few months. I'm trying not to do too much in Florida. I have 2 more shows, one in September and one in November in Florida. I'm going to try to avoid any more local ones there. I'm hoping to get some a little distant. I'll do MegaCon because that's always a blast, and I usually do pretty well there. So if I get invited to MegaCon, I'll take that one. But I'm hoping to get back out on the road and get some new drone shots and meet some more folks. So thanks for watching, and I will talk to you soon.